Hello, my little guppies. How are we doing today? Once again, we're back on the battlefield with another siege battle, one of my own. And boy, oh boy, this is a good one. Let's get into the players on the field of battle, and then we'll get into the army comps quickly, and then we'll start. So, defending, we have the Grand Fromage as Macedon, myself as Nabatea, and then as Carthage, we have Dang HJ. Dang HJ, that's what it is. Attacking as Macedon, we have Mark. Oh, hi, Mark. 10 points if you know what movie that's from. And then two Epirus players. However, though, I know who is who because I remember distinctly. Well, you'll see. We have Nazki Lagan. That's what it looks like, at least, as Epirus. And then we have Iron Axe as Epirus over here. Now, before we, I assume we get into the army comp. So, Carthage has a unit of like Carthaginian hoplites up on the wall. Not the best place for them. Mercenary noble fighters up in the front lines. Not exactly where I would have them either. Libyan infantry. 3 Cretans, and then, of course, Balearic Slinger is mixed in there. Bunch of Libyan infantry. Noble Cav as his gen, a unit of African war elephants, 2 units of African pikes, and then another unit of Noble Cav. Myself, I have brought with me 5 units of the Rakim Palace Guard. This was a pretty high funds match, if I remember correctly. One of which being my general. I brought 1, 2, 3, 4 noble swords, and then 4 or 5 Nabatean axe warriors. I'm fairly certain, but whatever. And then Macedon has brought with him 3 units of companion cav, one of which being his general. Let's see, looks like 3 units of royal peltists, a bunch of thorax swords, and then 2 units of foot companion, as well as 3 mercenary Cretan archers and 1 Rhodian slinger. Macedon over here has brought with him companion cav as gen, big old Onager, 2 units of companion cav, 4 units of shield bearers. Only 3 Cretan archers, didn't go with the 4th option of a Rhodian slinger, and then a bunch of thorax swords. And that looks like 2 royal peltists up front. Epirus over here has brought with him, let's see, some Sam Knights, unit of Italian swords that are actually, wow, triple gold chevron. I didn't notice that when we were playing at the time. 2 units of hoplites. They're actually, his whole front line is triple gold chevron. How many units? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Yeah, so we went with the... Yeah, so this is definitely a high funds game if he could have this many triple gold units. So mercenary Italian swords, Cretans, and then actually, wait a sec. Okay, archers. There we go. And then 3 mercenary Etruscan hoplites and 2 units of citizen cav. Empress over here is brought with him pretty much a similar type of an army. Bunch of royal peltists up on the towers. Not exactly where I would personally have them, but what are you going to do? His general's actually up on the tower as well. Sam Knights, mercenary Italian swords, unit or of pikemen. Looks like only 1 unit of pikemen, and then just actually a shitload of royal peltists, and then 3 Cretan archers. Now, we decided to sit back a ways to let them in and take the walls. So, you know me, not a huge fan of deployables, but when I do use them, I only ever bring sharpstone beds. So, being that this was kind of my spot to defend, I decided to sit back a little bit, set up my Rakim Palace Guard here, set up this right here, so hypothetically, when they would come in, they would hit those sharpstone beds, and then they would get smacked by the archers. Oh, I also have brought with me an Eastern Onager. And also get some Pila to the face. And then kind of the same thing over here. Keen Palace Guard would take the brunt of the attack while getting supported by some Pila? Actually, no, jabs. They don't get Pila. So let's start. Right off the bat, I noticed that my Macedonian ally, I had a feeling that I needed to take care of my Epirus player as quickly as possible so I could go and support my Macedonian ally. I wasn't too concerned with Carthage over here, being that they just had a bunch of thorax swords, and the Libyan infantry are a little bit better than thorax swords.
It's speed! Double time!
So I actually started to shift some troops around.
Advance at speed!
I ended up pulling back one of my axe warriors into here because they would be hidden, and one of my noble swords as well. Actually, 2 of my noble swords. One to back up this Rakim Palace Guard, the other to back up this Nabatean axe warrior. And my thought was that when they came in, that they would charge forward, and then I would be able to get a good counter charge on them into the side. I started to shift some troops over to here, just in case I would need to shuttle them over to aid my ally over here, but also that they were close enough that I could still bring them back and I'd be able to support myself as well. So you can see I have my 2 Nabatean heavy archers over here ready to fire down into this, and then the 2 other ones right here to fire down there. So we're going to see some strangeness here in this battle, but it's a hard-hitting one for sure. 30 minutes left, and we are starting slowly but surely. Now giving up the walls in Athens is not, you know, a terrible idea. It's not the best idea. You're allowing the attackers to have all of this, to get their troops in and move them around, to take these towers. But we're far enough back that we won't get attacked by them, so they won't be able to support the attackers once they actually manage to take these. And we're holding choke points here. In reality, you know, Carthage is posted up over here. He doesn't really need to be. If anything, he should have had some troops probably right there, so that if Epirus decided to come over this way, they wouldn't have taken this, because he is actually sitting within the sphere of influence, or the ring of fire, so to speak, of the arrow tower here. And here we go, the first wall down. And again, you know, we just, I think it was the Carthaginian player who wanted to set up like this to decide to let them come in. But you know, if they get in over here and they're uncontested, they can just go shuttle this way. He has a unit of Libyan infantry here, In reality, his 2 pikes should have been here and here to guard those paths. Because as we'll see, Mastodon gets his companion cab in, but doesn't do anything with them right away. So over here, he's actually pulled back his thorax swords. He's going to go ahead and make another breach point to get more, shuttle in more of his troops. And now we see he's going to start to move up his shield bearers, his peltists, holding back on his Cretans, and he's not doing anything with his Onager yet either. Now we can see the companion cab actually starting to make their way in along thorax swords. Back way over here, this Epirus player has started to make lots of advancements so far, slowly moving up all of his troops, really just knocking down the walls. And it seems like not actually taking the walls, but just setting up his towers here to fire in on these troops over here. But because they're all hidden, the scorpions on top won't have shots, won't have angles on them. So now we can see my Epirus player starting to move in. And again, I had this Onager just right here in the thoughts that as soon as they shuttled their way in, I could either destroy this building and take out some of the attackers, or I could, you know, shotgun fire rounds right into the meat of their forces. But now I'm actually gonna move this guy. Actually, I was taking shots, I believe. I don't remember from who. Now we see some rounds coming in from Macedon's Onager, getting some good hits on these Libyan infantry. And now Eric's just gonna or not Eric, I'm sorry, Mark. Mark's just gonna sit here. I'm not gonna refer to him as Macedon even. I'm gonna refer to him as Mark the rest of the game. Is Mark, well, you'll see. So now I've got my guys back on their Onager, and I'm going to start to move them. I'm going to shift a little bit, because Epirus is just kind of piling in his troops, and this is just a big, beefy target. I actually started to manually fire some rounds, trying to gauge exactly where my shots were going. As you can see, I'm arcing over this building, so it's neither here nor there, but I am getting some hits. And oof, look at that. Nearly 20 units down out of a triple gold hoplite unit. And now he's going to rush his units forward in an attempt to mitigate the damage that he's taking. But of course, as he's moving in, more shots of mine are coming in, now actually just letting the Onager fire by itself. And with the hopes of getting as many shots in as I possibly can. Back over here, Epirus, continuing completely uncontested. Looks like Macedon's starting to shuttle around some troops. He's going to move his unit of his foot companion over here. It's not a bad idea. But again, you don't want to get too close, because look at this. Now these thorax swords are within the ring of fire of this arrow tower, including these guys here. We should really pull them back. And I would even suggest pull back far enough and then set up something like this with units facing this way and this way so that you have a bit of a kill box. Epirus now just kind of waiting over here, hasn't committed any of his troops to attacking my Rakhine Palace Guard yet. Just fine by me. My archers haven't started firing, and now I'm going to move my Onager unit, because he keeps on jockeying around his units over here so that I can't get them. He doesn't want me to use this Onager unit to fire in. So now I'm actually going to move my Nabatean heavy archers right here and start to fire in. I find his pikeman unit, his Hellenic Royal Guard, and I just start firing in, trying to whittle down that unit as much as I possibly can. Actually, his 2 units of pikes are his Gen, and they're both silver chevron, single silver chevron. But now with the outside ballista here, I'm actually getting shots into, again, his hoplites. keeps on moving his troops around, but he's just taking his time. And I don't know if he was hoping that his ally over here would put enough pressure on Macedon, and then I would have to commit troops over here, so he would have an easier time. But now I have, it seems, 3 units of my archers firing in on this big juicy blob. So he also has a Greek ballista in here as well. Hasn't started firing all yet. My Onager is already up to 131 kills, and I barely used any ammo so far. Now you can see he's actually starting to fire in. He's trying to get shots in on my Onager unit, and then I start to move them out of the way.
No!
So I don't want to. I want to try and mitigate losses on this as much as I possibly can. So again, still hasn't really done anything. Hasn't committed any troops yet. He's just taking his time. Citizen Cab is in here, not really doing anything. So I actually move up my Nabatean Axe Warriors, so I can move up my Eastern Onager a little bit more, so that again I can get a good angle on his units. He's still going to be firing in, trying to get a shot on, but I don't believe that he is manually firing. I think he's just letting it fire by itself. And, you know, it's not the most accurate. So now, as soon as his hoplites start to come out, I stop, and now I'm just ripping shots into his units as they're making their way in here. And I'm just shotgunning right into his troops, and just really taking them out. Already up to 222 kills. And then of course I saw this. He started to push through a little bit. I called him out on it, and as soon as he stopped, so we got some good shots of my troops. Actually, I'm going to start to pull back my Onager, because now he's actually bringing his troops into my line of fire, so that's exactly what I want. And because at this point I had noticed that he had pushed through a little bit, I'm forced that I have to now move my units through. But one of his unit of hoplites is already dropping, or losing. Pushing forward more Nabatean Axe Warriors and my noble swords to stop that gap from forming. Back over here, Mark is just kind of hanging out. His units aren't doing much of anything. His Onager's up to 167 kills. I believe it's out of ammo, and his companion cab is not really doing much. His thorax swords, not really doing much. Empress over here is actually becoming quite a problem. His peltists up on the walls, which is good on him. Going to be able to either A, get down the side here and charge into these thorax swords, or throw their javelins down in. So he went with a very heavy javelin-focused build. Lots of projectiles that he's able to throw. And at this point, again, I probably would have fallen back, maybe. Because it doesn't matter that he's fallen back for the stairs. Empress can get over here. And that might be exactly what he's doing with these Thorio Spears, or he can do it with the Royal Peltas. But either way, he's taking shots from this tower, and he's going to lose men at an exponential rate. However, you know, he's smart, and he doesn't want to charge in, but he's just letting his Thorio Spears and his Peltas do some work, throwing his javelins in on these thorax swords. And he's going to get some great kills, especially since it's the weapon arm. They're not going to have the greatest shield block chance that they can possibly have. Back over here, now we can see they've really started to commit more and more of their troops. And he made a fatal mistake here. He charged in his Samnite warriors into a single focal point of my my line. And now it's given me a nice little gap that I can work my troops through. And even over here too, I must not have noticed it. There's a gap right here that I could have slipped through as well. These archers are definitely out of ammo, 161 kills, so well done for them. Well, I guess I should say well done for myself, actually, right? My Onager crew, sorry, up to 267 kills. And now I'm just going to start to charge units through, especially if these guys, these Neptune axe warriors. There's enough of a gap here that I'm actually going to charge them through. I'm going to just miss, trying to get them away from the Hellenic Royal Guard. I don't want them to get caught, even if I lose a couple of time. And then I'm going to charge for the Greek ballista. So soon he's going to notice, but before he does, I'm going to start to move my Team Palace Guard to try and counter the Citizen Cav, but he does manage to get them on the way, and they're going to start chasing after my Neptune axe warriors, but that's okay. Back over here, my Onager again, starting to fire in here. He started to push through a little bit, but it didn't really matter. I'm pulling back, and now these mercenary trusting hoplites are wide open for some serious shots from my artillery. I managed to pull through, because he pulled through, these guys were on the outside, so I'm able to get them over here to help my axe warriors over here try and take care of these citizen cav. Back over here, my Macedonian ally is really having kind of a tough time. Looks like he's trying to get some cycle charges in on these Royal Peltasts, but he's pulling away, when in reality he just needs to keep going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, until he whittles down these Thorio Spears. I mean, even the Thorio Spears, they're not going to have a good time against the Companion Cav. So now we have these Thorax Swords up against these Royal Peltasts, and they're not going to have a great time either. So he's really kind of up against the ropes, and at this point I realize that I need to squash my Epirus in order to move my troops over here to help him with his Epirus. So I have these 2 units for Keen Palace Guard. They're going to be crucial in holding this back, but he's on full retreat mode. There's 1 unit of Foot Companion, unfortunately down to 55 guys. They only have 82 kills. That's a real shame because it's one of the best pikes, or actually it is the best pike unit in the game. It is an extremely expensive unit. I've managed to see his ballista unit off the field of battle. Noble Swordsmen are chasing after his Cretans. They're going to chase them out. And my Axe Warriors and Rakim Palace Guard are dealing with Epirus's cav. Meanwhile, Epirus over here is just really having a bad time. I have my Nabatean heavy archers in the mix. One of them has 265 kills, the other only 68. I'm not sure if that was a misclick. I don't really recall, but that's okay. Meanwhile, my Onager unit over here has 388 kills, and he still has ammo. I still have ammo on this guy. Back over here, Mark is doing nothing. Mark is doing nothing, except for moving his units all the way back here to capture this capture point. Good for Mark. Small victories, I guess. Meanwhile, Carthage is, there's nothing wrong with Carthage. He still has ammo. He's firing in, getting some decent shots in on the side of these African pikemen. But still, he's just, I don't know. I don't know what he was doing. So again, my Macedonian ally over here, really, he should have been cycle charging these units in. And now Epirus over here has free reign just to waltz on in and do whatever he wants. So now I got my Onager unit back over here. Still have ammo in this guy, so you can see them reloading. I've actually lost 1, but that's okay. And I'm just going to start to rip shots through some of these Royal Peltasts, the Mercenary Sam Knights, and really start putting a hurt on, oh, look at that. They're all just bunched up, and just start ripping right into these guys. Oh, look at that. Oh, God, it's beautiful, isn't it? Lovely. Absolutely lovely. So, Epirus over here has been completely taken care of. The only unit left is his Hellenic Royal Guard, and it'll only be a matter of time before he is taken care of. That 1 unit of Nabatean heavy archers that was breaking managed to come back. All my archers at this point probably are out of ammo. 275, 183, and 177. These guys might have ammo, but who knows. So Macedon is coming out and going after these guys. Kind of pointless. in my opinion. Reality, he should be, coming this way, probing for openings that are going to get his cav in and behind Epirus. And look at that, 531 kills, still firing into this advancing line of Royal Peltas, Samnite Warriors. And I'm just going to try and do as much damage as I possibly can against them while I still have ammo. So over here, I set up one of my Rakim Palace Guard in an attempt to discourage Mark from doing anything. I have another unit of Rakim Palace Guard over here taking on these Royal Peltas. I have them in shield screen that bumps up their melee defense to 83 and their armor to 127. Unfortunately, I am still losing. Really what I needed was my Macedonian ally to get a unit over here and to assist me, but he didn't do that. It's okay. So now finally, my Epirus is finally shown off the field of battle, and now it's time for me to start shuttling troops this way and that way in order to deal with Macedon and also Epirus over here, because Mark is still just hanging out. The shield bearers are a pretty serious unit. The Peltas are a serious unit. Thorax swords are, they're like a good support unit. A good all around. But, Mark, I don't know what you were doing. So, yeah, really not a lot of action over here. Carthage didn't have to do much of anything for the majority of the fight. So, back over here, up to 580 kills, and I still have ammo. Still have some ammo. Rakim Palace Guard, only 56 guys left, so I'm just charging them forward. We're going to try and catch these archers out, but it didn't happen, so just going to charge them into something. Try and hold these guys up. Actually, no, I'm going to try and get them out of there, looks like. Yep. Yeah, there's only 47 guys, and they're slowly dropping, but if I can get them out of there, they can still be a pretty big pain in the butt. Actually, it looks like I took my units off. It's weird. Yeah, so I guess they're out of ammo, even though it looks like there's still a piece of ammo left in there. 10 minutes and 25 seconds left in this one, guys. If you're enjoying this, you know what to do. Like, share, subscribe, do all that cool stuff on YouTube to help me grow the channel to dizzying heights. And now, as you can see over here, I'm actually moving my fresher unit, my Rakim Palace Guard, because Mark has finally decided to move his units in. He's just gonna select all and click, and that's it. Over here, I charge forward my archers who are out of ammo to try and get these Cretans to shut up because they were firing into African pikes. And then look at this over here. Epirus smartly using the walls to get behind. Gonna get into some Libyan infantry with his Royal Peltas, but he's gonna slip on by. I don't know if that's considered a push through or not. It might be, but it's like, where are you pushing through to? Like, you're just moving behind the line of your own troops. My Rakim Palace Guard still going at it with the Royal Peltas, and they're actually losing now. The Rakim Palace Guard are starting to get the upper hand, but he's thrown in some mercenary Samnite Warriors, so it's going to be another tough uphill battle. Meanwhile, I got Noble Swords in up against Royal Peltas with the Libyan infantry, and I have Axe Warriors backing up the Rakim Palace Guard there. Over here, it's going to be a brawl. Noble Swords, 2 units of Noble Swords in, trying to contain this unit, this massive Epirian units, so they don't move any further into the victory point location. I'm moving my units around, and now I'm going to try and slip through here to get into the backs of the pikes, but he notices the cav and moves his pikes and Thurios spears around and facing this way. So if he had never gone for these Cretan archers, I probably would have been able to surround all of this, and we would have had a better time. And here you go. Mark just, selected all and right-clicked, and that's what he did. His general's all the way back there. Pretty sure his Onager's out of ammo. 219 kills, not bad. But, this is what it's become. Now it's just a giant blob that we have basically surrounded. But, I mean, if you know anything about Total War, a giant blob isn't as easy to destroy as it may seem. In reality, Carthage should have gotten his elephants in here as quickly as possible, because these guys, well, they had no ammo, but I mean, well, yeah, I guess he couldn't have, it would have been bad news bears if he had moved these elephants over. But really, though, actually, no. You know what? Macedon could have came out and around and smashed into the back of these Cretan archers, and then he could have gotten his elephants in there a lot sooner. Even myself, I could have gone after the Cretans. I mean, they're taking fire from the Cretans as well, but still. Macedon really should have came around, right into the back. And he's using fire arrow, which is, it's going to demoralize, but it's going to do more to demoralize all of his units than it is going to demoralize us. Over here is just an absolute scrap to try and deal with Epirus. They really put up one hell of a fight over here. I gotta hand it to them. Managing to take out their Thurios spears. They have their pikes here. So I'm using this unit of Axe Warriors to go after this unit of Thurios spears and also try and smash in the back here. These Rakim Palace Guards still plodding along, losing at this point, but they're being backed up by the Neptune Axe Warriors that I've taken from here. I brought them over here. Mark is still just doing things. I don't know what. I don't know. If I hadn't said it in the beginning, I'm going to say it now. Mark and the Epirus player that I was up against was definitely new. Or newer. Or new-ish. I mean, fucking look at this is not someone who's experienced. So, no hate. I'm not trying to hate on him. It's just you gotta do better. So now these Cretans are out of the walls. They still don't even have any kills. They were using fire shot the whole time. They're actually firing into the back of my Rakim Palace Guard. It doesn't matter though, because the companion cab that I'm fighting are going to be gone. And still, where's his elephants? His elephants could oh man, if he brought his elephants in here now, it would have been, well, yeah. He should have brought them in way sooner, but he didn't. Macedonian generals coming to charge into these royal peltas. Unfortunately, his Rhodian slingers and Cretans are going to get absolutely slapped by these guys. My Onager crew, I was like, I want to save these guys. I don't want them to die. They did such a good job. They got almost 600 kills. Pikeman unit, finally has been taken care of, and now he's able to cycle charge into the back of these royal peltas. But he's not cycle charging. He's actually, it looks like he's pulling through, which is a no-no. He should be cycle charging back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. What I like to do is, personally, hold a unit of shot cab in the back, send one forward, and then chain command the return. And then as they're pulling out, send in the other one and chain command the return. And then when the other one gets back here, just keep on cycling them back over here. These Thurios spears took forever to deal with. Over here, he's managed to move up his thorax swordsman finally. But he has two Rakim Palace Guards to go against. Granted, one is only at 30 kills with 30 men with 143 kills. They're losing decisively, but the other is 158 men, and they will stand firm against these thorax swordsmen. These noble cav aren't doing jack shit either. If anything, again, he should have columned them up and slipped them through this gap to get into these Cretan archers. That, again, they're just using fire shot. They're not actually getting any kills. Back over here, his elephants are charging in, and it's just a giant hodgepodge. It's a huge mess. Smartly, though, he does have his Cretans up on the wall. They're getting a great angle into this mess here. And these elephants are going to start to have a field day. Already up to 160 kills, but he needs to start clicking through. At this point, I saw that the Macedonian, or Mark rather, decided to bring his gen in because he thought that that would be a good idea to do, finally. And I managed to get my general here. I pop off anti-cav tactics and into shield screen, and then just absolutely handle these generals. Back over here still, these thorax swords are getting shown off the field of battle. Carthage is still not cyclo-charging in and out like he should be. Neither was Macedon, but what are you going to do? These thorax swords, Thurio Spear over here have finally been shown. Who's Who and Argon and Epirus, for the better part, is off the field of battle, and now it's just Mark. Now it's just Mark that is left. The elephants are now up to 204 kills. My Rakim Palace Guard up to 173 kills. My general's up to 125. And at this point, I remember Mark knew that he had lost, and he said, man, that in the chat, he was like, that was a good fight. And all I could think was, for the better half of this battle, you sat outside, had tea and crumpets, while your allies had the fight of their lives. And you did nothing. Oh, what are you gonna do? You know? So at this point, there's nothing left over here, really. I mean, these units have been dealt with. Carthage should bring his pikes over and get them in here. Pull out his Libyan infantry. He's got this unit of pikemen in here. Get the other one over here too, and just start pushing them in. These companion cav, they're not doing shit. Pull them out. Pull them out and go out and around, smash into the back of these companion cav, and then cycle charge in and out here. All right? Let's see. Is General dead? No, General's not dead just yet, but now we're just having mass routing across the board. And you can pretty much, we're just going to fast forward it because we all know what's going to happen. We lose the attackers somehow managed to pull off a win. No, I'm just kidding. Costly victory. So, what can we learn from this, kids? Well, children, what we can learn here is it's all well and good if you want to delay your attack. If you want to force the opponent that you have gone up against to force them to sit and not be able to help out their allies and cause pressure on other fronts. That's all well and good. But at some point, you have to realize that, oh fuck, my allies aren't having a good enough time. I need to press the attack. You can't just sit there and then when one of your allies has been completely annihilated and the other one is starting to get whittled away slowly but surely, think, oh, maybe now I'll go in. Again, I'm not trying to be mean, just trying to give advice as best as I can. All right, let's get into the kills. Prepared to be amazed. We'll start with myself because I'm a greedy bastard. 3,685 kills, folks. This is the highest that I have ever gotten. Granted, I lost a lot of my army, but this is the best I've ever done. So, I'm pretty sure at least. So my Rakim Palace Guard General, 157. My Onager, 587. He managed to get 7 more kills off the Onager. My Heavy Archers, 279, 68, 181, and 189. My Axe Warriors did really well, 126, 168, 141, 186, 122. Noble Swords did really well, 141, 80, 203, 145, and 184. And then my Rakim Palace Guard just absolutely knocked it out of the park, 221, 253, 152, and then 100 kills. The Grand Fromage, 1,712, 51, 186, and 216 for his companion cav. Granted, he did do good, but still, you want to cycle charge them in and out. That's going to be your best bet. They don't have great melee defense, so they're not going to last long. I mean, they were in that big mess, so I guess there were other juicier targets for the AI to pick with. Cretan Archers, they did all right. 41, 26, 94. His Slingers did great, 115. His Foot Companion, 80 and 165. His Peltis, 155, 130, and 176, so good on them. And then his Thorax Swords, not doing the best, 22, 31, 41, 59, 106, and 18. Dang HJ with 1,503 kills, 0 on his Gen, 264 on his Elephant, 29 for his other Noble Cav, 2 for his Balearic Slingers, 231, 82, and 130 for his Cretans, so well done there. His Pikes, 0 and 17, 93 for his late Carthaginian Hoplites, and then 16, 8, 107, 152, 0, 88, 0, and 110 for his Libyan Infantry, and then 2 and 172 for his Mercenary Noble Fighters. So Mark only got 830 kills. His General getting 21. His Onager probably doing the best out of actually doing the best out of all of his units, getting 219. 35 and 109 for his other 2 companion cav, 1, 3, and 1 for his Cretans, and that's only because he was using Fire Shot the whole time. Don't use Fire Shot. Only use Fire Shot if you see elephants, or I would say use Fire Shot when the enemy's morale is so low that the Fire Shot will really tip them over the edge to get them to break. 41 and 31 for his Royal Baltas, 23, 30, 30, and 26 for his Shield Bearers. That makes my heart cry because I love this unit. I've played as Macedon and have used Shield Bearers and gotten hundreds of kills with them. They're probably one of my favorite units in the game, right along with the Rakim Palace Guard. So seeing these numbers, it makes me cry. And then his Thorax Swords, 58, 41, 124, 10, 15, and 12. Again, Thorax Swords aren't the best, but they can, they're like the solid backbone of an army, sort of. And they can definitely put up some decent numbers. And seeing this makes me sad. Iron Axe, definitely, what can I say? He had a smart build. He had such a great build. And granted, it was a high funds game, but 2,778 kills. The amount of Royal Peltis, just the amount of projectiles that he was able to put out really aided him a lot in this battle. So 162, 151, 247, 180, 170, 233, 157, 183, 53, and 181. His Cretans did really well, 123, 124, and 269. Nice. 60 for his Italian Swords, 101 or 108, 92, and 114 for his Mercenary Sand Knights. Only 4 for his Pikemen, unfortunate, but shit happens. 35 for 130 Spear, and then 114 for the other one. This is that one that took forever for us to actually to break. So, and then Nazkili Gun, or however you say that, 979 kills. Again, this was a lot of money dumped into units that ended up getting thrashed. And it was kind of sad to see. Not for me, because I absolutely decimated his army without taking too many losses initially in the beginning, but still. So his Hellenic Royal Guard, only 93 kills, 23 for his Ballista, 54 and 48 for his Citizen Cav. Really not the best Cav to bring. He probably would have been better off with Shot Cav. He could have, and he chevroned up an Archer. Don't ever chevron up an Archer. Never, because it doesn't increase their damage. It doesn't increase their range. All it does is increase their rate of fire, their morale, and their melee defense. And their melee defense uh, is already fucking crap to begin with. So don't do that. So 54, 31, 33, 29 for his Cretans. For his Italian swords, 19, 8, and 0. His other Hellenic Royal Guard at 97. His Sam Knights did kind of good at 132, 86, and 108. I would say this one did pretty well. His two Hoplites, 22 and 46, and then his Etruscan Hoplites, 29, 30, and 38. So again, he made the mistake of bunching up his troops. He didn't bring enough toward it. He didn't make enough breach points in the wall to be able to spread out his troops. And even when he took the gates, he should have sent some of his troops through the gates. And then he bunched them up, hid them behind a building, and allowed me the opportunity to move my Onager up and start just ripping shots through multiple units at once. If he hadn't done that, my Onager wouldn't have gotten as many kills as it did. But I mean, like I said, I think Mark and this Epirus player probably newer, and but, you know, we all start somewhere. So hopefully, you know, as they play more and more games, they will improve and get better. And you know, hopefully I get to play against them again, and hopefully they have become better players, and they'll give me and whatever teammates I have in my team a real run for our money. You know, so that's it, guys, for me. I hope you enjoyed this one. This one was a blast to play, and even more fun to record and watch again. So again, if I didn't say it, I think I did, but still, you know, like, share, comment, do all that stuff. Help me actually hurdle over the edge to 20 subscribers, because I'm at 19 right now. If I could actually just make it to, if I could get that one more sub, that would really, honestly, it would really make my day. Just to break it to 20. It would really make me happy. But other than that, I hope you guys have a good day or night or whatever time it is where you're living at. And until next time, mon cher, take it easy.